If I went out and people made me as trans, then I had failed. I'd failed in my presentation. And then at some point, a light went off and I said, I am trans. If they make me as trans, then they're seeing the true me. I considered I was transitioning from male to female. And that's not it. I was transitioning from not me to me. I never thought that I could ever transition. And that's when I sought out a therapist. I didn't go into it with intent of transitioning. I went in with intent of coping. How do I cope with this? Your whole life you're being told it's wrong, it's evil, it's an abomination. Society treats you so horribly. I've had strangers make comments to me just passing them in the mall. People fear what they don't understand, and people do not understand someone who's trans. You internalize those messages, and you start to believe them yourself. And so then you have a lack of self-respect. And so the first thing is, you are good the way you're made. You're perfect the way you're made. You don't have to be different. Just be you. And you is beautiful. And that's the hardest message and the hardest part of therapy. To me, therapy was only two parts: loving yourself and helping me to cope with society. What do I do if somebody comes up to me on the street and does something wrong? And the figuring out whether or not I was trans and figuring out how to be me, that wasn't a big deal. I could do that. I just needed to first respect myself and decide that I was worth love. My therapist made me feel like I was a little bit selfish or guilty for not sharing myself, my true self, with others. And she said, there will be people who don't like you. You'll lose friends if you transition. But do you think you'll gain some too? And of the people you gain, will they be they'll be your friend because of who you are, not somebody you're impersonating? I didn't like keeping a secret from my wife. I came out at 60 to her. We'd been married 30 years. She went through all of the stages of grief: denial, you're not really, and then anger, and then negotiation. Well, maybe we can do this where you can just, in fact, she even researched and found that there were some trans cruises, or maybe you can just go do your thing in a closet, if you will, in an environment without having to disturb anything else. I have great empathy for her, for any spouse that gets that news, turns your life upside down. It is much more than the relationship between you two. If I'd lost my family or friends because of transitioning, I would probably lose them anyway, because I don't know how many more years I could have gone. One of the first people I had to come out to was my hairdresser, because, why are you growing your hair longer? Stuff like that. And I was having to wear wigs back then. And I had to have him work on a wig for me. And I tried to use, it was October, I tried to use, this is something for a Halloween costume. He sat down, looked me in the eye, said, "What's going on?" Because, he knew me, and hairstylist, they're therapist. So he asked and I had to tell him. And so he was great, and he worked with me and did some great hairstyles for me and stuff. But we took a picture, and he shared that picture with a friend of mine and his, who I had known for 30 years. She had been going to him for more than 30 years. And when she saw the picture, she started crying. And she said, in 30 years, it's the first time I've seen her smile. And now my smile is something people know me by. Getting past the point of feeling I was broken, I want to research things. So from there, I went and started reading everything I could. I read medical articles, I read biographies from other trans people. Nobody has exactly the same transition. Some people are very happy they're just as trans as I am, but they may never do any hormones, they may never have any surgery, they may never transition and come out, but they could be just as trans. Gender is a spectrum, and if you start with, I'm either male or female, you're wrong to begin with. Because even within people who consider themselves female, identify as female, you can have a wide spectrum of how they present, how they act, how they see themselves. Throughout history, multiple genders, not just male or female, have been natural. And I found out about Native Americans here in the Navajo having 5 genders that they respected and understood. One of them was man and woman, another one was woman and man, and one was, in effect, non-binary. And they revered these people. They called them two spirits. And instead of being, as in our society today, where trans people are looked down upon, these people are often elevated to shaman and leaders of the tribe because they felt like by having a mix of man and woman, a woman's brain and a man's body, if you will, that they offered something that the average person did not. I have great hope for the future because as I speak to younger people in college, in high school, they don't care. They really don't. My friend is trans. Okay, what are we having for lunch? One of the big steps I see for me and for others is the decision to go on hormones, because that is life-changing. And in fact, when you decide to start hormones, the doctors give you about a 2-inch high thick stack of papers that you have to sign, saying you know all of the side effects and everything else that's going to happen, and they're irreversible. You have chosen a path to transition. It's a daunting thing that you don't take lightly. One of the things that was fascinating to me was how fast they worked. Almost immediately, I could feel more of a sense of calm with the estrogen. My skin changed almost overnight. It became much softer. My face became softer, less hard angles. And I swear, overnight, my body fat went up 5%. And so one of the effects of estrogen that everybody focuses on is growing boobs. And that happens pretty quickly, but you're going through puberty again. And this time I'm going through female puberty. And so it doesn't happen overnight any more than a teenage girl grows boobs overnight. It's something that happens over a series of years. And it gave me a new appreciation for what every woman has gone through. I was very fortunate to get with a surgeon who happens to be transgender herself. The energy that I got from her was that she was not just interested in making a buck doing surgery. She was about changing people's lives. She was about giving her patients the best darn vagina she could give them. The surgery involved is very intense. I think that I was in surgery for about 4 hours. The amazing thing is they can do it and not have a single scar. If you put a picture of me naked compared to anybody else as close up as you want to be, you would never know and never have a clue. I've actually been surprised that upon excitement, how much lubrication I get. And I don't know where that comes from or how it happens. Achieving natural orgasms is quite easy, and all of the sensations are there just like any other woman. And one of the things that you do post-surgery is you're given dilators. And they're different size phallic devices that you have to use to dilate yourself. And at first, you have to do them, I had to do them like 5 times a day for 30 minutes each time. And then you work up over time to get larger and larger sizes. You have to do that to keep scar tissue and stuff, to break up scar tissue and to keep the vagina from closing up, because it could naturally just want to close up. So you want to keep breaking up the scar tissue, keep the depth of the vagina, and you have to do that. Post-surgery was kind of the final straw to make everything settle down. Because once I was completely transitioned, I had the last bit of confidence. It's like, I am fully woman. I have multiple states now that have issued either driver's license or birth certificates. The federal government considers me a woman. It's like, nobody can take that away from me now. When I first transitioned, I was hopeful of being able to have dates and be able to have a romantic quality to my life. And what I found very quickly was, if you want to become celibate, transition. Because as a trans woman, I'm still attracted to women, but lesbians, something that makes it not right for them. So I've never had really lesbians come on to me and want to date me. Heterosexual men, on the other hand, would love to meet me in a motel room and have sex with me, but would never be seen at dinner with me. And then gay men are attracted to masculine bodies. So they're not even attracted to a feminine body. So it's the pool of people who could even potentially be a date for me is so small, it's almost non-existent. I'm attracted to a person. And if the body parts of that person are one thing or another, we could probably figure out a way to have fun. Okay? But if the person had the perfect body parts and I didn't like them as a person, I didn't relate to them, I didn't like their energy, then I wouldn't be interested in having sex with them. The bathroom issues for trans people are very real. I have a friend who went to a bathroom in the mall and had a security guard come and kick in the door, and my friend was arrested for felony peeping Tom just for going to the women's bathroom presenting as a woman. I would go to concerts at an outdoor amphitheater with my friends, great times and everything, and listen to music. I would not drink water, I would not drink beer. I would sit there and drink nothing because I didn't want to have to go to the restroom because there was a line for the restroom. And while I had no problem at that time slipping into a women's restroom, doing my business and leaving, if I was going to have to stand in a line for a long time, somebody was going to have a problem with it and there was going to be an issue. There shouldn't be a fight or flight kick up in your body when you just have to go to the bathroom. It's really odd that the people who make a big deal about it are generally white men. And the real risk in restrooms is to young boys. And that they're the ones who are likely to be molested in a bathroom by an older man. It's not a trans woman. And in fact, one of the things I tell people is that you are safer going to the bathroom with a trans woman, statistically safer, than you are going to the bathroom with a priest, congressman, or coach, because all of those categories have had people do bad things in bathrooms. And the study showed that trans masculine people tended to get more promotions, higher paying jobs. Trans women had a tougher time getting a job, had lower pay. I've been fortunate to be able to get a couple of nice jobs after I transitioned, but I can tell that in meetings when there's a room full of people, it is harder to have my voice heard. Having the male background, I know how to still get it heard, but I can see it and feel the energy difference between men and women in a meeting. Safety and security and things like that I never thought of as a male, I had to learn those kinds of things as a woman. And so that now I have to think about having my keys ready and not getting out of my car until I know what my path is and everything's clear and it looks good. And those were things I never thought of as a male. Thankfully, I had a lot of friends, and I would encourage any cis women, especially who have a trans friend, help them with all the little things of being a woman in this world today. I am who I am based on my journey in life. And my journey in life included being male for a part of it. It molded me and changed me and made me who I am today. So Would I want to go back and start over? No. Do I wish I'd been born a natal female? Yeah, that would have been great, but I don't disrespect what I had as a life. My motto is, be you. Everybody else is already taken.